A Le Mans victory is a crowning achievement for any driver, team, or manufacturer. But when the racing world descends upon Le Mans, for a few brief moments, the support races steal the spotlight. This is the perfect opportunity for aspirational young drivers to make their mark on the sports car racing world. And in race 1 of Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil's matinee at Le Mans, Jeff Giassi put on an absolute show trying to do exactly that. With the race set to begin, Jeff, who currently sits second in the Carrera Cup Brazil standings, will start from a strong third position with the championship leader Müller in second place and Regatas on pole. And as they make their way through the Ford chicane, with the eyes of the global racing community on them, the field is eager to get this race underway. It's a long hold as the field makes their way absolutely nose to tail under the packed grandstands, and Jeff tries to anticipate the drop of the green flag. Finally it flies, and Giassi slams the throttle as the pole sitter gets a great launch onto the front straight. Into the Dunlop curve, Müller is trying to find his way past, but thinks better of it and backs out of it as the pole sitter maintains the lead into the first corner. Giassi uses a huge amount of curb on the entry and closes in on the two cars out front as he consolidates his third place starting position. Down through the Forest S's, the pole sitter leads the championship leader, but through this left-hander, he runs slightly wide and Müller is desperate to find his way past. These top three are absolutely nose to tail as they make their way through Tête Rouge and onto the long Mulsanne straight. The pole sitter runs slightly wide through the exit, and Müller is absolutely tucked into the draft of that green Porsche of Regatas. With their straight cut gears whining, they go side by side for the race lead, with Müller going around the outside into the first chicane. Müller gets into the race lead before the braking zone and moves over to the right-hand side to defend his position as Giassi closes in on both of them through the braking zone. And as they exit this first chicane, Giassi is tucked up just behind that number 17 car. But that number 17 begins to pull away. That's because Regatas is using his boost button. That's one of the special things about Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. Each driver gets 12 pushes of a button that gives them about an additional 40 horsepower. And when that boost button is activated, the headlights start flashing, as we can see on that green car. So with the use of boost, Regatas is back in the race lead but runs deep through the second chicane, and around the outside goes Müller back up in front of the number 17 car and into the race lead once again, with Giassi tucked into the draft of both of them. And if you look to the bottom of the dashboard on the right-hand side, you can see Boost 11 requested. And that means that Giassi has requested Boost coming out of the next corner and will be trying to use that extra horsepower to move into the race lead as they head into Indianapolis. Through the Mulsanne corner, Giassi slams the throttle and his boost goes active as he has not only a double draft, but an additional 40 horsepower to use down this long straightaway. Just ahead though, we can see the number 17 car trying to make its way past and back into the race lead as Giassi closes in on both of them, looking around the outside of not one, but two cars into Indianapolis. But the 17 car is not giving up so easily as Regatas goes around the outside into Indianapolis and into the race lead. For a brief moment, Giassi had the race lead, but has been shuffled back to second. Now, although these Porsche drivers have the ability to use boost, they only have 12 pushes worth 30 seconds to use between the two races here at Le Mans. So that means the driver could theoretically use 12 pushes in this race 1, but that would mean they can't use any pushes in the second race as Müller looks up the inside through the Porsche curbs, but Giassi is able to hold on through the first apex. So, as I was saying about the boost, the drivers have to be really tactical with how they use this button because it will affect their results not only in this race, but also in the following race. And that level of tactics adds just another dimension to this Porsche Carrera Cup race. And through the exit of the Porsche curbs, we can see that number 17 car has pulled a slight gap on Giassi, who has raced this track hundreds of times on iRacing, but never before in real life. So each lap is a huge learning experience for this young Porsche driver as they make their way through the Ford chicane, and he clobbers both apex curbs and closes in on that number 17, which leads the first lap at Le Mans with Giassi back in second place. For any of you sim racers out there, Jeff actually mentioned to me that although he has never raced here in person, he uses almost the exact same lines through the corners, and the car behaves surprisingly similar to how it does on iRacing as he closes in through the first chicane, using that first apex curb to close a huge amount of distance on the race leader. And as they go down through the forest S's, he continues to close the gap to the 17 car. But if we look in Jeff's mirror, Mueller is still looming large in his yellow Porsche as he tries to close in and re-overtake Jeff Giassi. Jeff uses every inch of road on the exit, but if we look in his mirror, we can see the lights are flashing on that yellow Porsche, and that means boost is active for Mueller as he closes in on Jeff. He pops to the left-hand side and makes his way past the white and red 97 and back into second place as Jeff tucks back into Mueller's draft with his flat six singing down the Mulsanne straight. And as the stint continues, we can see yellow flags indicating a slow zone just ahead. The leader slows down, but slightly too early, and Jeff, as well as the fourth place car, have caught the leader as the top four are nose to tail through the slow zone on the Mulsanne straight. And as they head into Mulsanne corner, we can look off-board and see the top four all together through this right-hander as they prepare to take the green flag. Once again, Jeff is all over the rear of the second place car and has requested boost. As they finally exit the slow zone, we can see green on the dashboard. That means the boost is active as Jeff closes in on the leaders into Indianapolis. Down this long straightaway, Jeff inches closer to the second place Porsche, who moves to the middle of the road, and Jeff pops to the inside, going off the road once again as he goes over the curb and past up into second place as he plots to find his way past the race leader. And through the Porsche curves, we can see that green number 17 car sliding all over the road and using all of that exit curbing as he maybe gets a track limits violation there, and Jeff closes in into the Ford chicane. The race leader defends to the inside, but there's just nowhere to go through this double chicane as Jeff tucks back in behind that number 17 car. But the leader is deep, and Jeff uses his experience from iRacing to absolutely nail the chicane, but the second place car is also all over the rear of Jeff as Jeff looks to find the race lead, but also defend second place. Mueller has the leverage though heading into the first corner and shuffles Jeff back to third place as they hit the brakes for the chicane. Mueller defends to the inside, but runs deep through the first element. Jeff has a better run coming out of the exit, but just nowhere to go as he settles in behind the championship leader. And with all of this battling out front, we can look in Jeff's mirrors and see the fourth place car now looking for a way past. Through the forest S's, Jeff nails the line and stays just behind that yellow Porsche, also trying to find a way past the number 17 and into the race lead. As they go through Tete Rouge, Jeff tucks into the draft of the two cars out front as we can see headlights flashing on the car behind. That means the fourth place car is on the boost button and almost certainly will make its way past into the first chicane. Paludo moves to the right-hand side and into third place as he boosts past Jeff. Jeff tucks into the draft though, trying to close in as much as possible as he is now down to fourth position. He slams the brakes and closes in on that third place car as he uses the curbs just perfectly, and the leaders go side by side on the exit. But as the top two go wheel to wheel, they're giving a massive draft to the cars behind and slowing themselves down. The third place car now looks for a way past as Jeff is just a few car lengths behind the race lead. They go 3 wide out front, and Jeff also follows Paludo through, going onto the shoulder once again as he goes from 4th to 2nd into the 2nd chicane, nearly into 1st, as well as he looks up the inside of that number 7 car, but falls in line behind as he gets a kick of oversteer on the exit, but tucks into the draft. Frantic racing here in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil as Jeff now has boost active and closes in on the race leader. He pops to the inside into Mulsanne corner and takes over the race lead, gaining 3 positions on the Mulsanne straight in this topsy-turvy race. He slams the brakes into Mulsanne corner as we can see Mueller behind, trying to find a way past that 2nd place car and close in on Jeff, who still has boost active and can use that to defend his race lead into Indy. And with the stint continuing, Jeff continues out front, but with the championship leader Mueller just behind now into the 1st chicane. Jeff runs a little bit deep and the 2nd place car closes in on the exit. If we can look in Jeff's mirrors, we can barely see the nose of that Porsche as he is tucked up underneath the rear wing of this number 97. And down the long stretch over the crest into Mulsanne corner, Mueller continues to close in as he pops to the outside line. It's a difficult place to pass as Jeff defends the right-hand side, slamming the brakes as late as possible. Mueller is ahead, but runs deep into the corner as Jeff gets a better exit, but just not able to continue his run as Mueller defends to the right-hand side. Jeff will try to hang tough on the less preferred line. And as they drag race down this long straightaway, Jeff's windshield wiper is still working hard on his 97. Mueller has the slight advantage, but Jeff uses a side draft to claw his way back alongside that number 544. Jeff has a nose ahead into Fast Indy, but then Mueller fights back on the inside as well. He brakes as late as possible with a nose ahead, but Mueller fights back around the outside through Indy, but runs wide and clips the signage on the outside of the track, destroying his right-hand mirror as Jeff is able to hang on to the race lead. But with 8 minutes and only 3 boosts remaining, hanging on to the lead will be no easy feat. And with his windshield wipers still wagging, Jeff makes his way through Tête Rouge as Mueller's lights are once again flashing and he closes in on the number 97 Porsche. Down this long straightaway, the straight cut gears are howling as that number 544 inches closer and closer. Jeff moves to the right-hand side to defend into the 1st chicane as Mueller goes around the outside with Jeff unable to defend the position. He tucks back in line behind that yellow-nosed Porsche as they slam on the brakes into the 1st chicane. The lead changing once again in this incredible Carrera Cup race. Jeff and Mueller are putting on an absolute show. And into the 4th chicane, there are just 3 minutes remaining in the race. That means this upcoming lap will be the final one of this incredible race. And out of the 4th chicane, Jeff power slides his Porsche as he continues just behind that number 544. And into the 1st corner, he eases to the left-hand side of the road to set up for the braking zone for the 1st chicane. He lifts off the throttle and then slams the brakes as he clips that apex curb on the left-hand side and then on the right as well, getting another kick of oversteer on the exit as he pushes his Porsche to its limits. If we look in the mirror, he has built a slight gap to 2nd place, so it is all eyes on the race leader for Jeff. And through the forest S's, he clips that apex curb on the left-hand side and on the right as well. As we can see, Jeff has requested more boost coming out of Tête Rouge. And as the boost goes active, it is all or nothing for Jeff on this last lap of the race. As I mentioned, they can only use boost 12 times between race 1 and race 2. And Jeff has nearly used his full allotment to try to win this 1st round. But as they make their way into the 1st chicane, Mueller continues to weave as he tries to break the draft from this number 97. Jeff slams the brakes into the 1st chicane as we can see yellow flags and a car parked on the right-hand side of the road. Jeff continuing to close in and use all of the road on the exit as he tucks into Mueller's draft on the Mulsanne straight. We can see Muller's damaged mirror as he continues to weave from side to side, desperate to retain the lead here at Le Mans. And into the second chicane, Jeff just not able to close in on that Porsche as Muller's weaving seems to have kept Jeff behind for this straightaway. They slam the brakes once again, Jeff needing a little counter steer as his Porsche is moving around in the braking zone, and Muller runs wide through the exit. Jeff gets a better run coming out of the corner and might have the overspeed on the exit, but Muller just builds enough of a gap to stay ahead of this number 97. The weaving continues as they make their way into the Mulsanne corner, and Jeff just needs to find his way past this number 544 to claim the race victory here at Le Mans. They slam on the brakes once again, and Muller once again is just slightly deep through the apex. Jeff has requested another use of boost, and it is now active once again as he tries to make his way past. Muller takes a defensive line into Indianapolis as Jeff goes around the outside, headlights flashing, and past the number 544. Jeff now begins weaving from side to side as he tries to break Muller's draft into the right-hander. Jeff tickles 281 kilometers an hour as he slams the brake into the right-left sequence. He is ahead and in the race lead, but runs slightly wide and through the gravel as Muller looks around the outside into Arnage, the slowest corner on the circuit. They go side by side, but Jeff has the inside line and gets a kick of oversteer on the exit as he squeezes the throttle and stays ahead of Muller. Into the Porsche curbs, Jeff has saved one use of boost for tomorrow's race as Muller has not used boost either. It's a head-to-head fight into the Porsche curbs, which is likely the last overtaking opportunity on this lap. Muller looks around the outside, but Jeff has the better line as they nearly go side by side. He uses every inch of road through that right-hander and then all the way up to the rumble strips on the outside of that left-hander as he maintains the race lead with just a handful of corners remaining. Through the right-hander, the car is moving around, and then through this left-hander, conservative on the exit, making sure not to get a track limits violation as there is just one braking zone remaining, separating Jeff from victory here at Le Mans. He slams on the brakes into the fourth chicane, clips both apex curbs, and then takes a defensive line, preventing Muller from trying an overtaking opportunity, but he is slow through the exit. Muller has a run, but there is not enough distance to the line as Jeff claims victory. An incredible Porsche Carrera Cup race here at Le Mans. Congrats to Jeff and everyone else for such an incredible battle. As Jeff continues screaming in the car, you can tell how much this victory means as he gives a huge thumbs up to Muller. Anyways, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching and so much for supporting, and a huge thank you to Jeff and Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil for allowing me to use this incredible footage. But I will let the race winner have the final word.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for making it this far in the video, and Mark, thank you for making the video. To finish, I'm gonna share a story that I was not even supposed to be in the championship in the first place. I was planning to be a coach for the entire season, and I would do every single race except Le Mans because Le Mans is so special to me, and I knew after so many years of preparation and hard work in iRacing, I would have the chance to be in the front group, and being in the front group, that means you have the chance to win in Le Mans. So that would be painful to not be in the track, so I decided to not go. And a couple of days before the championship started, a driver dropped out, and that got me the seat for the entire season. And suddenly I'm in Le Mans, suddenly qualifying a 10th away from pole position, and talking to my brother before the race, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna send it. And that's what I did. 3 wide around the outside at Indianapolis, and I did everything, absolutely everything that I could to win the race. There was nothing left in the table, so it really paid out in the end, and I'm really happy that it happened. I'm really happy that I was there. I'm really happy that I won the race, and that's also one of the reasons why it means so much to me. So thank you a lot for watching. Don't forget to leave Mark a like and a subscribe, and let's keep watching his next videos.